All right. All right. This is Magic Collins, aka Magic Man, and this is the Fight the Funk podcast. And today we got Cheri McDole from
Hi.
from room 116. Thank you for joining me. Pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is all. I've been trying to get you
I
on the
know.
podcast for like weeks.
Yeah.
You are busy,
You are the most patient person ever, and I appreciate it.
life.
Patient and accommodating, because
Yeah,
I'll be all over the place. So I appreciate it.
such is life, you know. We gotta be patient, man. So what is like what makes your schedule so like all over the place?
Honestly, I'm really trying to take things to the next level, and I'm really trying to also take things to the next level on the one end, and then get creative in terms of dealing with Corona stuff. Because our whole mission is to create physical spaces for people to come together and empower them. So,
Okay.
given the fact that being together in person is like a challenge these days, had to get creative with just, how we're able to do that. So,
Okay. And
so
then
yeah.
what is the what's room 116?
Yeah, so Room 116 is a nonprofit that I created about 4 years ago. 4 years ago on paper, I always say, and then about 2.5 years we've been doing events and stuff. But the whole mission is to be a space where young adults in particular, I use young loosely, so people in our mid to late 20s, 30s, early 40s, that age range of life where people think you have it all together, but you're absolutely still trying to figure it out.
Like yeah.
Right. You know. So yeah, I wanted to create a space for us to come together and have fun, and grow, in ways that we don't always usually get a chance to as adults because we're so busy trying to survive and make it. So really creating a space where we can our mental health can be poured into, and we can grow and we can thrive and be the best versions of ourselves through community and coming together and growing and playing and connecting.
Okay. And you studied psychology?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what my background is. I have a couple degrees in psychology. Was a therapist for a while, so that's where I live.
So are you taking any more clients? I just wanted to like that in
Yeah, it's
there.
funny you asked that because I'm actually gonna be starting a couple different programs through the organization where we have kind of like an informal counseling setting. So not like true clinical psychology, like no diagnosis or anything, something closer to life coaching, honestly.
Okay.
To make it a little bit more accessible for people because therapy comes in so many different forms. So yeah.
That's what I realized. Like, I'm a facilitator at NAMI West LA, and it's like, and to me, that's been better. Like, not better, but that's been so complimentary to everything else I do. Like, just having that
Yeah.
support group every week, and it's like, man, I love you guys. You
Yeah.
know, it's like it's
Yeah.
dope. It's dope. And
Yeah.
it's like, so yeah, I love this what you're doing. And then also, I was looking into the
Thank you.
program. And it's the first time I've ever seen a program where it's actually like having adult activities that doesn't need alcohol. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's dope. That's dope. Like, I know you don't even think
Thank you.
about that. You don't even think about
Yeah.
that.
I
Yeah,
didn't even realize that was a need until, so I happen to not drink, but I have a lot of friends who do naturally.
yeah.
And so before I started the organization, I would have these like game nights. We played board games and stuff at my apartment. And I have friends from all different walks of life, friends on the more conservative end, friends on the more liberal end in terms of the activities they like to do. And I just had food and like juice and soda and games. And people had so much fun. We were laughing, staying up till 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning, having a good time. And I kept receiving the feedback time and time again with different groups, different people. I can't believe I had so much fun sober. I can't believe I had so much fun and there was no alcohol. Like, that's crazy. And I was like, are people not having fun without alcohol? Is that not a thing? And then the more I looked into it, I was like, wow, it really isn't a thing. Like, if that's what you're looking for, it's hard to find. So I wanted to create a space where people had that option, because I believe it is a different type of fun. There's definitely fun, to having fun with alcohol for sure. But it's a different kind of fun to really just have fun like we did when we were kids,
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also like, how do you implement I read the financial stability? 'Cause that is also something that people really don't, it's like we kind of avoid and stuff.
Yeah. So one of the programs is so interesting because as I've like started this and grown it, we don't have our own building yet, so that's one major thing that we're looking forward to being able to have, to really do all the things that are on the to-do list of programs and events and whatnot. But right before Corona hit back in March, we were just about to launch one of the programs we have called Adulting 101, where we teach different things that we should have learned in school, like financial literacy and cooking and, you know, taking care of your car and, you know, how to buy a house and how to deal with, you know, credit and all the kind of things that we, you know, should know, that should be basic knowledge, but that we still struggle with, or we haven't yet to learn or haven't mastered or whatever. So financial literacy is a big part of that in different areas, like you said, whether it's investing or insurance or buying a home or our credit or our budget. Just so many different things go into managing our money.
Yeah, 'cause it's like that's the thing. If you know, it's like all the anxiety, no matter what groups you go to, if your money ain't right,
right.
all the meditations, like your money still ain't right though.
Unfortunately, that's the way the system is set up, which I'm not a fan of personally, but you know, I got other plans to fight against the system. So,
that's kind of. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're fine.
But that's the thing. It's kind of like you got to kind of be strategic of how you're operating. You know, it's like you don't want to spread yourself too thin too soon. So it is like a matter of like, what are you focusing on at each?
Yeah, I've had to learn that. It's a journey for sure of learning what to focus on and how to navigate it all with your time and money. So yeah.
Okay, and then and you guys are based out of like Leimert or?
Yeah, Leimert. So
Leimert Park house.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, a beautiful space. For those of you watching who haven't been, definitely check it out. It's like the blackest. Leimert Park and Inglewood, I feel like, are tied for like the blackest parts of Los Angeles County, where you really get to see Black excellence. And I would say Leimert Park especially, just because they have a long tradition of having the outdoor events and stuff like that, really bringing the community together. And it's just a long string. You'll find in Inglewood too, but it's a long string of Black-owned businesses, and it's just a really supportive community. Like with Corona, we were in a space that was generous enough to let us be there, and then, you know, the COVID whole thing hit, and so we weren't able to be there. Took a break for a few months, and then now we're at Hot and Cool Cafe. And they're just amazing. The owners, the whole staff is just really believes in community, and you see that with a lot of the business owners there. The desire to really come together and empower one another and have a good time, and that's you know, the heart of my mission. So
I gotta give you props in Hot and Cool Cafes, like, cause I don't know how you do a group meeting at 12. Like, I don't know how. Because I was trying to join one at the end of the jam session. Was that Friday night or something?
It's Friday night.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I can't do it. It's too late.
You know, it's cool. A lot of people say that. A lot of people who haven't gotten a chance to really be a part of the Friday night discussion, they're like, y'all be really having real conversations that late at night. But like it gets really deep and really juicy. And you know,
y'all got people walking by and stuff.
Well, that's new, because like I said, we used to be in a space where it was just us.
Okay.
And you know, we would be there to the wee hours of the morning. And you know, this is a restaurant, so it's a different setup, and so we end more closer to almost, you know, exactly at 12, if not a little bit after. But yeah, the conversation is so good, and people, the spirit of the conversation is that it's a safe space, and a place where, you know, all perspectives are welcome, all belief systems are welcome, all, you know, any type of variety of diversity is welcome, and, you know, people really embrace that and really feel free to be honest. And so it's kind of like, you know, people share their truth, and it doesn't even really matter what's going on around us. It's been pretty cool.
That's dope. Now, what, like, because you took on a huge endeavor. Like, is this something that you were kind of like kind of already saw it in high school or college, or you?
No, that's a good question. High school and college, I was focusing on becoming a therapist. So that was how I thought I was gonna change the world, was through therapy. I've always been that friend. You know, most people have that friend, right? Where, you're the one who they tell their problems to, you're the one who gives advice and whatnot. So therapy was kind of a natural direction for me to go in. And then I went to grad school. So I got my master's in clinical psychology. And that same program, I was headed to get my doctorate. And then it was a lot of discrimination in the program, and really was a really hard time in my life, because I was doing everything right on paper, and I was doing everything right with my clients, with my therapy clients. But the institution really put extra rules on me that they didn't put on my peers.
Let's get into it. Because because I remember I was reading Langston Hughes when he graduated, and he was like the best writer by far in his class. But he couldn't get a job to save his life. And I forgot who it was. It was a woman. She was like, dang, who was it? Pretty much she told him that he would have to do the Chitlin circuit and go to all the black colleges and then promote his work with his poetry.
Wow.
And that'd be the only way he'd have a career.
Wow.
And it's like, there's so many different stories where it's like, you have to, for whatever reason, like you're held to a standard that isn't even real. It's like,
yeah.
So what was your experience like as a black woman trying to come up in this?
Yeah, it was really interesting, because it was so unexpected for me. It was my first time. Was let's see, I was like 22, 23 when I started grad school. And so I had gone 23 years without really understanding the true depth of what discrimination looks like. Because I had never really been told no. I never really faced obstacles outside of, I always had like what they call ADD. In terms of, so it was always a struggle for me in school in terms of focusing and time management. And I went into grad school knowing that time management was a struggle. But what I didn't know was that I was going to be penalized in a way that other people weren't penalized for the same thing. So if I was late to class, it was an issue, but other people who were late to class, it wasn't an issue. Or if I spoke up, and had a little pushback in class about a question or a concept, especially when I wanted to bring a cultural element to the conversation, like, okay, well, let's think about this. I got pushback where my peers, like I had a white male peer who was a similar type of student to me and would ask a lot of questions and push back with the discussion. And he was fine. He passed his evaluations and everything. And I didn't. So, it's not like anything official. That's the thing that I feel like is I don't like about racism / discrimination in today's day and age. Back in the day, it was blatant, right?
It was like, in your face.
Right. We are not accepting Black people. We are not accepting, Japanese or gays or whatever they were discriminating against, right? Like, it was like very clear discrimination. Now it's very subtle. It's like, like all sorts of niceties and it's explained away with other stuff, but when you look at it, it's like, come on,
exactly.
What else could it be?
Yeah. And that's where so do you feel, how did those experiences shape you moving forward? Like so creating this, how did that?
It did. It really was a pivotal moment for me, because like I said, I had never experienced it made me woke. Have you seen the new show Woke on Hulu?
I haven't. I keep hearing about it though.
It's a good show. I definitely recommend checking it out. But without giving it away, on the first episode, he has an experience where he faces, what we're talking about in a very real way, and it completely helps him realize that it's a problematic thing, right? Like, it just completely opens his eyes. And so similar for me, like I used to be so blind to the whole situation. I used to think that like, oh, people are being extra, like no one's holding, it's 2000 whatever, like no one's holding us back, you know, we have a black president. Like I was one of those
You're that
people.
part. You're that part. Oh man.
Because I didn't face it. I went to a private school that was really mixed. It was predominantly Asian, but a really nice mix of everything. And our differences were celebrated. It was like, oh, I eat this and you eat this and we dance this way. And, you know, it was just like cultural differences that were cool.
Yeah,
I never was made to feel less than because I was Black or because I was a woman. So for the first time in my life, like I wasn't being, what'd you say?
I was you shaking the computer a bit.
Oh, sorry.
Like, I was like, oh.
sorry. But yeah, for the first time in my life, I wasn't being treated as an equal and fairly, or at least I should say for the first time in my life, I noticed it. Who knows what had been happening before in elementary and high school, and I went to HBCU for college, so it was good there. But at any rate, so it did make me much more passionate about, I mean, I'm still passionate about helping all people, but it made me much more passionate about helping Black people, helping my community, because I feel like of all the groups, like there's several groups in America that are discriminated against, of course, but I think that with African Americans, the depth of it is just deeper than any other group. It's really, man, it's just, it's so many things. It's a whole system and so many lanes of that system that are really crafted to a T to specifically like hold us back.
Like voter suppression. It's like surgical. That's what
right. No,
surgical.
like it's like criminal mastermind type level stuff. So it's like, okay, if there's so many forces that are specifically strategically against us, then on the flip side, we have to be specifically strategically for us. And that doesn't mean that, you know, all lives don't matter. Of course, all lives matter. But the reason why there's a focus on Black lives and the Black experience is because we have a lot of catch up to do in terms of really valuing our people and our culture and getting us on track to be successful in every area. So,
Yeah, I feel that. And that's the part where it's like, when people start to dive into, you know, the real, the meat and potatoes of it, it's like they normally can't stay in it because it is so dense. It's like they go in for like a good week, a good month, and bless their heart. They're like, you know what, this is all right. Good luck, you guys. Good luck. It's like, because it's dense. It's dense. And I always try to pay attention, like with how much I'm putting, because it's like when you get a friend or somebody who's honestly, like, not the bullshit trying to just string you along, but really is learning, really is challenging themselves, and you respond in kind. It's like, for me, my job is not to give them 37 years of what I know in a week. You know, it's like, but like, all right, let them, it's like being a teacher. It's like, you're not going to dump everything on. It's like, but let's see, you know, let them kind of do their thing. And then it's like, oh, we'll check this out. Have you looked into the criminalization?
Right.
Industrial criminal, but I can't talk right now.
No, you're fine.
Industrial prison complex. There it is. But it's like, you because it's so many facets and so many elements to it, it's, you don't want to over like do it either. So it's tricky. But now so with that, do you find it, are you more attuned to, or I should say, like, have you worked with people that are predominantly white as far as like counseling goes and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would say in my few years in counseling, most of my, I don't know, I kind of had clients all over the board because I worked at different counseling centers. So I was at a counseling center that was like run by Black people, and most of my clients were Black. I worked at a counseling center that was actually had a diverse staff, but it was specifically for Native Americans. So I had Native American and Hispanic clients, which, you know, a lot of Hispanic people have Native American, you know, in them.
Mm.
And sorry, my internet is, or my, it's asking me a question. Hold on. Let's see. Should be good. Okay, yeah, sorry. And then I worked at a counseling center where most of my clients, I worked a couple where most of my clients were white. So I will say I've had like a good variety. And honestly, I feel like a lot of times there's this thing called socioeconomic status. Are you familiar with that term?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's like I feel like that a lot of times in counseling makes more of a difference
Well,
than
explain to our audience though.
yes. So basically, where are you at in terms of your on the financial hierarchy, and where are you at in terms of the societal hierarchy? So societal, economic, money status. So if you're somebody who's coming from a place of poverty and oppression, that's going to look different, or extreme oppression, then that's going to look different than somebody who's coming from a more middle class situation. And I would say that a white person and a black person, in a coming from a state of poverty in the same city, are going to have more in common with regard to what they talk about in therapy than to a white and a black person, you know, in a middle class situation. I mean, did I say that right? What I'm saying is that the racial part is I would think not the thing that people have most in common, but I think that it is where we come together because the system stacks it up that way, right? So for example, a white person and a black person coming from poverty probably do have much more in common. They probably should be voting for the same types of people that are going to help them. They probably should be looking at the same type of government programs and same types of nonprofits, and they should have a lot to agree on and to fight for together. However, the way the system pits us against each other, you have poor white people who are voting for people who really are trying to help the rich. And they're not having their best interests. Or you have poor white people aligning themselves with wealthy white people, and they feel more of an allegiance with them than they do with their black counterparts. So it's interesting how that plays into it. And I feel like I'm like going on a whole rabbit trail, but I guess the point that I'm making is that I do think that plays a bigger role in terms of what kind of problems people have. But being Black in America, whether you have $2 to your name or whether you're Oprah Winfrey, which I remember, we all remember that story when she got turned away. She was trying to shop somewhere and they turned her away because they didn't realize it was Oprah. They just thought it was a Black lady. So, and there's lots of stories of celebrities, you know, get pulled over or getting mistreated because they didn't realize they were a celebrity, because all of a sudden that makes you have value, right?
Exactly. You're not just Black, you're a celebrity.
Right.
My bad.
All right. So because that's a thing that's that Black people have to deal with regardless of their financial status, that is something common that you're going to see presented, you know, in the therapy room and just in our overall struggle. So.
Well, and that's where it's like, for me, it's like I went into mental health with the understanding that it's like the umbrella, like everybody has some kind of mental health challenges. If you don't have it now, you're gonna have it later. You know, it's like life is gonna deal you all kind of hands. So then it's like, but as I've gotten more and more into it, I've realized like so my primary focus on mental health, but it's like, but there's specific issues to address, Black males and Black women and Black America in general. And then Black and brown people, you know, it's like there's layers to it. It's like specific. And now how has that changed over your time of studying and working with people?
How has what changed?
So how has it changed as far as like what you're starting to key in on?
Yeah, I think that, as far as the organization goes, I can say, it's a weird place, and I still kind of, I'm still at a point where I'm kind of deciding how, because, you know, branding and marketing is a thing, right? And so, so the way it started, our mission or our target market wasn't race specific, right? So our target market is more age specific, so ages roughly 25 to 45. And where you're grown, but you're still trying to figure out how to be grown. And because I'm Black, I know Black people, I am in Black spaces, that's who's shown up. So it's predominantly Black, and that has become a part of, you know, what we talk about, especially in discussion. And I mean, you know, Black culture is a vibe and a life of its own, right? So the way we, I mean, this is true for every culture. Every culture has a different way of partying, a different lingo, a different set of concerns for their people. So it being a predominantly Black space has made that the focus. And I'm for that being a big part of the focus. That was always going to be a part of what we do in terms of empowering, you know, the Black community and empowering Black owned businesses and helping us, you know, with the unique challenges that are presented to our mental health because of how we're treated in society. At the same time, it's not exclusive to our community. So that's I think where I still am like growing and learning with how to really effectively communicate that we're 1,000% unashamed here for Black people, and we want to create spaces where Black people feel safe and are empowered. At the same time, it's not an organization that's just for Black people. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If your organization is just for Black people, that's needed very much so too. But I mean, it's just my heart, like I said, my heart really goes out for everyone because there's so many different examples of marginalized communities. There's so many different examples of communities that don't get enough attention and don't have enough advocates. And you know, I want us to all be able to rally together. So that's a big part of my mission. But the way I like to think of it is kind of like a health food store. That's the best analogy I've been able to think of. So health food stores have, you know, you can go there to get health food, right? It's a niche thing that you can for sure go there to get health food. But they carry potato chips, they carry donuts, they carry quote unquote regular food too. But they do specialize in having something for people who are looking for healthier options. So I think that would be how I categorize Room 116. And my overall mission is that I'm definitely here for the niche of my people. And I'm definitely, if you're looking for a space that's going to empower Black people, we got you. But, you know, we also are down to empower other groups as well. But especially starting with, like I said, any group that's been, you know, hasn't been dealt a fully positive hand by the system. So,
Okay. Nice. And now with that, what is your favorite dance move?
That was an interesting segue. So yeah, my favorite dance move. It's funny because I can and can't dance both. Like
okay.
I'm always gonna find the beat, right? Like I'm definitely, you know, like my African ancestors would be proud of the fact that I always know where the beat is. At the same time, they'll probably be looking at me a little side-eyed because I'm not a superstar on the dance floor. I'm definitely not. Okay. When the family gets together, you know, I struggle with a little the new dances that the kids come out with. Like I can't. Like literally my whole family was trying to teach me how to Dougie when that was a thing, and I couldn't get it.
He was like, nah.
You know, so I would have to say, to answer your question, like a good solid classic two-step. You know what I mean? I will say if I'm doing if we're doing some sort of circle or some sort of Soul Train line where like I got to do something, I'll probably drop it low. I could do that. You know. Just typical, you know, ratchet type situation.
Hey, you got it.
But you know, it is what it is.
you have that card to play, you know.
I mean, hey, sometimes you gotta play that card.
like mine is two-step, the classic. This two, like just hey.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It'll get you where you need to be.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how do you So you guys have a lot of activities. Now, what are those encompass?
So our main kind of staple anchor activity is the Friday night discussion. So that's what you got to see a little bit of. Every Friday for the past 2 years. Actually, it was October. We did the first one 2 years ago. So it's the anniversary this month. Okay. The past 2 years, every Friday, unless there was something like, Corona, for the first few months of Corona. And, but for the most part, every Friday we have Friday night discussion, which basically is people come, we have food either provided or, now we're at a restaurant. And we get to know each other. We do a little mingle activity, and then we get into the discussion. And every week is a different topic. I mean, we talk about everything from mental health to our romantic relationships to our, relationships with our family, friendships, are dealing with ourselves and our self-esteem and our self-worth, and can we be honest, can we be confident, all the different things in life and adulting. And it's really juicy, engaging conversations. It's men and women, and like a good span of ages. The medium age is probably like right at the median age is probably right at 30, but we got plenty of 20-year-olds, plenty of 30-year-olds, a few 40-year-olds, and now we're in Leimert. We have a couple seniors that come through and are actually part of the conversation. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. So that we do Friday night discussion every week faithfully, and then on our normal schedule, we were doing a game night once a month. So I am working to bring that back, and just have to get creative because California one should be outside right now. So just figuring all of that, the logistics of that out. But so we do a game night once a month where we have board games and group games, and those are really, really fun. And it's nice to cater to different ways that people like to connect, right? So some people are more talkers. Some people like to engage, but not necessarily through talking. So games are a great way to do that. I love games for that reason. It's a great way to connect people. And have fun, in different types of fun. So that, another big thing we used to do were hikes. We would do hikes twice a month, and we would play in the park like we were kids. So doing like jump rope and tag and hide and go seek and stuff. Yeah. So looking to bring that back relatively soon too, because it's a fun way to work out. And still have a good time. You don't even realize how much of a serious workout you were getting as a kid. But
every
we'd be out of breath.
Right.
Right. Yeah. When we would do those, man, the next day we're all talking like, dude, like everything hurt. Because you don't even realize how hard you're working. You're just having a good time. So definitely want to bring that back as soon as possible.
Okay.
And then, like I said, we had some new things that we were going to add on. So, like the Adulting 101 classes, and have a couple things I want to do for the community to help us promote, empowering Black-owned businesses, and just really Black excellence in general. So I want us to keep the same energy that we had after the whole George Floyd situation. Forever. I don't want it to be a seasonal thing that dies out. So really want to incentivize, make it a game where we're really empowering one another, and keeping that going. So it's a long list of things that I want to implement, but it's a really small team right now, mainly me, that are making things happen. So as the team grows, and as I'm able to set up things to where we can bring in more revenue to have more programs and things, and I'll be able to do more and more. But yeah, it's been a fun ride so far, for sure.
Now how do you bring so with that, I know that's something I struggle with, as far as like when to get help and when it's like, you know what, I just need to do it myself.
Yeah.
Like, how are you managing that? Because I'm still like, oh man, I should just do that myself. So I'm still working on that.
Yeah, it's honestly about, I think, three things. I would say time, money, and fit, right? So it's a lot of people over the years that I have had want to be a part of the movement and want to be a part of what we're doing because they see the value in it. But at the same time, they ended up not being a good fit for whatever reason, because their time, because mind you, right now we're all volunteering. So So when you're volunteering, you can only give as much as you can give, right? So, and then other things would come up, you know, like I've had people who were in school who were helping, and then so during the summer they could help, and then when they got back in school, they, you know, faded out, or they had extra time, but then they got a second job, so then they had to fade out, or you know, it wasn't a good fit in terms of the vision. You know, their vision was one thing, and the overall vision of the organization was another thing, and so, you know, we can be parallel, but not necessarily a part of the same organization. So different things, people coming along, and then also just me learning what is it that I truly want to be doing, right? So there's things that I'm really good at when it comes to community organization and bringing people together and mental health, and there's things that that are not really my area. A lot of the areas of business and marketing and that kind of thing,
Ooh,
those are not my gifts. They really aren't. So so I'm like, okay, so I need to, even if I have to get my own money together, which is what I've been focused on, is okay, getting my own money together so I can just pour into the organization and hire people, or you know, set things up to where it works, and we're getting the marketing and the things that we need, you know, most efficiently. Because if I'm spinning my wheels doing something that's not in my lane, then I'm gonna be stressed out, and it's not even gonna work that great. Versus, and like I said, I've tried the volunteer thing, and the dedication often isn't there when it's volunteer. So, but I've been blessed along the way. I've definitely been blessed along the way. So the people that were there for whatever season that they were there for, it was helpful. So I'm very, very thankful to the people who have come in and given their time, and you know, whether they were paid or volunteer, to be able to contribute to help me grow and help us do more. But yeah, honestly, it's I'm still on that journey, so I don't have it all figured out. Just learning how to communicate the mission better. So I'm in the process of updating the website, so it's more clear what we have done, what we have been able to accomplish for individuals and for the community so far, and what we're going to, what the mission is, because it's a blessing that we have been able to make the difference that we've been able to make. You know, not having our own space and just doing things once a week and once a month and that kind of thing. But the vision is that we have our own space, that we have multiple spaces. I always tell people the goal is to be as big as the YMCA, or bigger even, and have a facility that's open for the majority of the day, if not 24/7, where we're having activities and events and programs, and it's a place that you can really just always know that you can come to get uplifted, get empowered, have a good time, grow, connect with good people, connect with what you're looking for. Just really a hub of resources and fun and growth. That's the overall vision. So it's you know, it's some steps we gotta go through to get to that space, but really being able to communicate the mission more efficiently, and communicate with more people, which is the marketing piece, I think will be a big part of that. Because I think the more people that get involved and see what we're trying to do for the community, the more donations we'll have, the more volunteers we'll have, the more revenue streams we'll have to have a sustainable business where I'm not a volunteer anymore, and I can, you know, hire other people. And so yeah, definitely want to continue that path of growth, but you know, definitely still learning, because business is a learning game. I mean, the most successful people in business had that same trajectory. So I kind of remind myself that a lot too. There's this picture of Jeff Bezos. I don't know if you've ever seen it. He's like in this little office, like at this little desk, and it has a spray paint Amazon.com on the wall, and it was like 1990 something. And it's you know, it's every big whatever had a humble beginning. Or had a beginning. I don't know. Some people, you know, Kylie Jenner had a pretty nice beginning.
Sometimes not a humble.
Right. Sometimes you starting off, you know, real far ahead in the race. But regardless, I'm sure Kylie could say the same thing. Lots of work, lots of you know, trial and error and whatever to be able to get to where you're trying to go. So yeah.
Okay. Well, so where can people like reach you, or if they want to help out and contact?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So the website is room116, room116.org.
Mm,
And the Instagram, that's our most active social media, is room116 connect.
mm.
Also, if you'd like to email us, it's info@room116connect.com. And if you'd like to call or text, oh yeah. If you'd like to call or text, the number is 323-989-1160. So we have lots of ways to reach out. You can DM us, email us, call, text. I'd love to share more with you about the mission if you're interested and ways you can get involved. Definitely, like I said, just want to be a central hub of connecting people to help them live their best lives so we can change the world together.
Thank you. And right now, you guys are out of Leimert Park.
Yes, yes. Every Friday you can
Park,
find us in
California.
person at Hot and Cool Cafe. So look Hot and Cool Cafe up. They're an amazing place to visit regardless. They have great food. They have vegan options, great coffee if you drink coffee,
A
tea,
soul
all kinds of
bowl.
stuff. Yes, they have so much good stuff and they're really, really good people. Really, really, all about empowerment and love. The vibe is always positive there. So they're there throughout the week. We're there Friday evenings. So music, they have a live band that plays outside. That starts at 7, and then we get started with discussion around 9:30. So yeah, but definitely follow the Instagram, Room116 Connect, to see where we are, because with the changing Corona stuff, you never know from week to week. It's like, okay, we still good? Okay, we
Are
good.
we doing this? Is this still
Right,
happening? Yeah.
right.
What week
So
is it
yeah,
this time? All right.
right.
Well, thank you so much. This
Thank
is
you. Thank
awesome.
you for
Yeah.
having me on here. Thank you for doing what
Yeah.
you do as well. Thank you for creating this space for people to come and
Yeah.
connect online. This is needed.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm learning just like everybody else. So I am my in my own way.
Yeah,
Contributing.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Have a good night. And
All right.
yeah. I want
Bye,
to get
everyone.
I want to try. Hold on.
Oh,
Cheri
yes.
McDole. Thank you from room 116. And did I get? Yeah, I did. Oh, hold on.
Is it?
Go, play, and connect.
Yep, that's us.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure for me too. Appreciate you.
All right. Get some
Bye.
rest. Do your thing.
Thank
Before you
you.
start running to the next thing.
I know, right?
Hey.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.